The fallout from Matt Clark's confrontation collides with a ruthless corporate war between the Newmans and the Abbotts. Victor officially takes control of the Matt Clark situation. Despite Nick's earlier determination to handle Matt himself, he ultimately steps aside and allows Victor to take command. Victor makes it clear that Matt will be removed as a threat permanently. The script deliberately keeps the outcome ambiguous, hinting at possibilities ranging from Matt being eliminated entirely to being secretly imprisoned somewhere no one can reach him. However, there is a lingering warning. Matt has survived impossible situations before, and the narrative suggests he may still have one last dirty trick left in him. Even Victor's decisive control may not fully close this chapter, leaving the door open for future chaos. While danger simmers in the shadows, loyalty solidifies inside the Newman family. Chelsea shocks Nikki by proving her unwavering commitment to the Newman cause. Working closely alongside Adam, Chelsea establishes herself as a powerful defender of the family empire. Nikki is visibly relieved to have Chelsea firmly in their corner as the attacks from Kane and Phyllis continue to intensify across Newman Enterprises. At the same time, the battle for Chancellor heats up. Kane presents Billy with an irresistible offer: full control of Chancellor. The proposal immediately detonates tension inside the family. Victoria reacts with fury. She sees Billy's potential alliance with Kane and Phyllis as a direct betrayal of Nikki and the Newman legacy. Victoria warns Billy that this move would not only fracture the family, but deeply impact their children, Johnny and Katie. Sally continues to stand firmly against the deal. She remains the loudest voice of caution, pushing Billy to recognize the destructive consequences that will follow if he aligns himself with Kane's agenda. Victoria then raises the emotional stakes even higher. She forces Billy to confront the long-term consequences of his choices, reminding him that their children are watching every move he makes. What began as a corporate power play now becomes a deeply personal test of loyalty, legacy, and parental responsibility. The Young and the Restless spoilers. The Matt Clark aftermath and the battle for Chancellor. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the fallout from the Matt Clark confrontation and the escalating business war that's tearing apart families and creating alliances in unexpected places. We've got Victor taking control in the most Victor way possible. Chelsea proving her loyalty to the Newman family and Billy facing pressure from absolutely everyone about the Chancellor deal. And honestly, the decisions being made right now are going to have consequences that last for years. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because the drama we're unpacking today is going to be intense. Alright, let's get into this. The fate of Matt Clark, Victor's permanent solution. Let's start with the conclusion of the Matt Clark saga, because what happens to Matt is going to define how the Newman family moves forward from this crisis. Despite Nick's initial insistence on handling Matt himself, despite his determination to be the one who dealt with the threat, Nick ultimately steps aside. He allows Victor to take over the Matt Clark problem. And that decision, while probably necessary to save Nick from becoming a murderer, comes with its own set of complications. Because Victor's solutions are never clean. They're never simple, and they're usually morally questionable at best. Victor is determined to push Matt out of the picture for good. The emphasis is on for good. This isn't about a temporary fix or a warning that might work for a while. Victor wants Matt gone permanently, so he can never threaten the family again. The spoilers hint at several possibilities for how Victor accomplishes this, and all of them are dark. The first possibility is that Matt meets his demise, Victor kills him or has him killed. Quick, efficient, permanent. Matt's dead and the problem is solved forever. The second possibility is something the spoilers describe as Matt being stashed in a dungeon, which probably refers to Victor imprisoning Matt somewhere secret, the way he did with Jordan, keeping Matt alive, but locked up indefinitely in conditions that are essentially torture. Both options are horrifying in different ways. Murder is murder, regardless of whether the victim deserves it. And indefinite imprisonment in terrible conditions might actually be worse than death from a humanitarian perspective. But Victor's not thinking about humanitarian concerns. He's thinking about protecting his family. And in Victor's worldview, the ends justify the means. If Matt needs to die or suffer to keep the Newman safe, then that's what's going to happen. The question is whether Victor's actually going to follow through with either of these options, or whether there's a third possibility we're not seeing yet. Because here's what the spoilers warn us about. Even with Victor's intervention, Matt might not be done causing problems. Matt is described as a pest who's a survivor. Someone who may have one more dirty trick left to cause future mayhem. And that makes sense based on what we know about Matt. He's escaped impossible situations before. He's survived when he shouldn't have. He's resourceful and dangerous in ways that people consistently underestimate. So, even if Victor thinks he's dealt with Matt permanently, there's a real possibility that Matt finds a way out, that he escapes whatever prison or fate Victor has planned for him, that he comes back angrier and more dangerous than ever. And if that happens, if Matt does manage to survive and escape, the Newman family is going to face a reckoning they're not prepared for. Because a Matt Clark who's been tortured or nearly killed by Victor Newman isn't going to want simple revenge. He's going to want to destroy the entire family. So, the question isn't just what did Victor do to Matt? The question is, did it actually work, or is Matt going to come back to haunt them? And based on these spoilers, we should probably be prepared for Matt to resurface eventually, because soap villains don't stay gone unless we see a body, and even then they sometimes come back. Nomina's Chelsea herself. While the Matt drama is resolving, there's another storyline developing that's going to be crucial for the Newman family's survival in the corporate war. Chelsea surprises Nikki by proving her unwavering loyalty to the family. And this isn't just about words or vague promises. Chelsea's actively working alongside Adam, establishing herself as what the spoilers call a formidable Newman defender. Think about what a journey this represents for Chelsea. She hasn't always been in the Newmans' good graces. She's had her ups and downs with the family. She's made mistakes, caused problems, been on the outside looking in. But now she's positioning herself as someone the family can count on, someone who's willing to fight for Newman Enterprises, someone who understands the stakes and is prepared to do what's necessary to protect the family's interests. Working alongside Adam is significant, too, because Adam and Chelsea have a complicated history, and seeing them work together effectively shows that they're both committed to this partnership, personal and professional. And Nikki's grateful. She's relieved of Chelsea as an ally, especially as the attacks on Newman Enterprises from Kane and Phyllis intensify. Think about Nikki's perspective for a second. Her company is under siege. People she thought she could trust are turning against her. The AI attack is devastating multiple divisions. She's watching her husband's empire potentially crumble. So having someone like Chelsea step up and prove loyal, someone who's willing to work hard and fight alongside the family, that matters enormously to Nikki. It also tells us that Chelsea's being strategic about her future. By proving herself indispensable during this crisis, by showing the Newmans that she's an asset rather than a liability, Chelsea is securing her position in the family. She's not just Adam's girlfriend anymore. She's a valued member of the team who's earned respect through her actions. That's going to pay dividends for Chelsea going forward. Because once this crisis is over, once the Newmans have dealt with Kane and Phyllis, they're going to remember who stood with them and who stood against them. And Chelsea's going to be firmly in this stood with us column. The battle for Chancellor, the deal that could destroy everything. Now, let's talk about the business war that's creating the most personal conflict. Because Kane's offer to Billy isn't just about corporate strategy. It's about family loyalty, about legacy, about what kind of man Billy wants to be. Kane dangles what the spoilers call a massive carrot in front of Billy. The chance to take over Chancellor. And for Billy, this is everything he's ever wanted. Chancellor is connected to his mother, Catherine. It's part of his legacy. Taking control of Chancellor would validate him in a way that nothing else could. So, the temptation is enormous. This is Billy's chance to prove he's not a failure. To show everyone that he's capable of running a major company, to reclaim something he feels should have been his all along. But accepting this offer comes at a massive cost. And Victoria's making sure Billy understands exactly what that cost is. Victoria is furious about Billy's potential deal. She views it as a direct strike against Nikki, which it absolutely is, because if Billy takes over Chancellor, Nikki's out. Her position, her authority, her contribution to the company. All of it becomes irrelevant. And Victoria is not going to stand by and watch Billy destroy her mother's career for his own ego. But Victoria is not just making this about business. She's making it personal. She's making it about their children. Victoria warns Billy that joining forces with Kane and Phyllis would be a betrayal of their children, Johnny and Katie. Think about the power of that argument. Victoria is essentially saying, you can make this deal if you want, but you need to understand that your children are going to see you align yourself with people who are attacking their family. They're going to watch you choose power and revenge over loyalty to the people who love you, and they're going to judge you for it. That's the parenting card being played in the most effective way possible, because Billy does care about his kids. He does want them to be proud of him. And the idea that they might grow up seeing him as someone who betrayed family for personal gain, that's got to hurt. Victoria is adding a personal emotional layer to this corporate warfare. She's reminding Billy that business decisions aren't made in a vacuum. They affect relationships. They affect how people see you. They affect your legacy. And she's pressuring Billy to think about his legacy, to ask himself what he wants Johnny and Katie to say about him when they're older, what stories they'll tell about their father. Will they say he was someone who stood up for family? Or will they say he was someone who chose power over principles? That's the choice Victoria's forcing Billy to confront. And it's a much harder question to answer than simple business calculations about profit and control. Sally's stance, the voice of reason nobody's hearing. Meanwhile, Sally remains the loudest voice of reason in Billy's life. She continues to oppose his involvement in the Chancellor deal. Sally's been consistent from the beginning. She's warned Billy about the risks. She's told him this is going to blow up in his face. She's begged him to think about what he's sacrificing for this opportunity. But Billy's not listening. And that tells Sally everything she needs to know about how much her opinion actually matters to him. Sally's in an impossible position. She loves Billy, but she can see him making a catastrophic mistake. She wants to support him, but she can't support a decision that's so clearly self-destructive. So, what's Sally supposed to do? Keep trying to change his mind even though it's obviously not working. Step back and let him make his own mistakes. Give him an ultimatum that forces him to choose between her and the deal. None of those options are good. All of them involve pain and potential loss. But one thing's clear, Sally's not going to just go along with this. She's not going to pretend she's okay with Billy's decision when she fundamentally isn't. She's got too much self-respect for that. So, we're heading toward a breaking point between Billy and Sally. A moment where one of them has to make a choice that determines the future of their relationship. And based on everything we've seen, it seems likely that Billy is going to choose the Chancellor deal. And Sally's going to choose herself. The bigger picture, loyalty versus ambition. Let's zoom out and look at what's really happening across all of these storylines. Because there's a common thread running through everything we've discussed. It's about loyalty versus ambition. It's about choosing family and principles over power and revenge. It's about the price you're willing to pay for what you want. Victor chose loyalty to his family over letting Nick become a murderer. Even though taking on the Matt problem himself means Victor has to get his hands dirty, he did it to protect Nick. Chelsea chose loyalty to the Newmans over staying neutral or protecting her own interests. She's fighting alongside them, even though it puts her at risk. But Billy's choosing ambition over loyalty. He's choosing the Chancellor opportunity over his relationships with Victoria, Sally, and his children's respect. And those choices are going to define these characters moving forward. Because in moments of crisis, your choices reveal who you really are. Victor's willing to cross moral lines to protect his family. Chelsea's willing to fight for people who've accepted her. Billy's willing to sacrifice relationships for professional validation. Those core character traits, those fundamental priorities, they're going to shape every decision these characters make from this point forward. And the consequences of those decisions are going to ripple through Genoa City for months, or even years. So, here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Matt Clark is actually gone for good? Or do you think he's going to escape and come back for revenge? What do you think Victor actually did to Matt? Do you think he killed him, imprisoned him, or found some other solution? What about Chelsea? Do you think her loyalty to the Newmans is genuine? Or is she being strategic and positioning herself for personal gain? And Billy, do you think Victoria's appeal to think about his children is going to change his mind? Or is he too far gone to turn back now? Finally, do you think Sally's going to actually leave Billy over this? And if she does, do you think Billy's going to regret losing her? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me your predictions for how these storylines are going to unfold and which character you think is making the right choices. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because the fallout from all of these decisions is going to be massive and you're going to want to be here to discuss every moment. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, in Genoa City, the choices you make in pursuit of power can cost you everything that actually matters. Stay dramatic.